is true. Okay, I didn't berserk this game. But can we get a Graif-Benko? Yeah. Okay, we got our first one. Take. Oh yes, this is our first one on stream. A Graif-Benko Gambit. All right. They've got some prep here. They've got some prep because they are ready to go knight c3. But we're gonna draw this queen in. It's attacking our rook there. And now the key here is to let them do this. Let them do it. Knight f3, bishop e2. Make them think they're going to be able to castle. No, just random queen threats. Make them think they're going to be able to castle. But that's when we hit them with bishop a6. If they castle right now, there's knight b4, hit the queen, and then I would win the bishop. So they take here, and now the secret queen a5 check. To go queen takes a6. This is all covered in the video. Yeah, so what they needed right there, and they're going to have a really hard time now, is queen d2. So that takes, they can go queen e2, and then try and shield this diagonal. But now, I cover this, and their king is going to be stuck in the middle. Bishop c3 was a good move, because I was going to go bishop f6. So we're going to have to think about what we want to do with our pieces now. But they are stuck in the middle. They are stuck as long as we've got this. So, we could start them off with this. We could start them off with this. Let's start them off with this. Knight b4. They come back. But I've got this check now, and it might just kill him. So they want queen e2, and then to shield that to castle. Let's hit him with the check first. Oh. Don't. Well, takes the queen e2. They survive. Now you have 4 check stops queen e2. King e1, there's takes. So now you have 4 check here. Knight e2 check. King f1 takes c3. It would be check. So they gotta. This has got to be the best. It's got to be the best. So yeah, king g1. No, don't do that. Check. And I am just winning the queen now. It would almost be like a smothered mate pattern, but I can't go queen f1 because there's queen takes f1. If that were a rook, it would be different. But queen takes f1 will cover against knight e2 in that position. So I can't just go check and then try to come back. My opponent offers a draw. What an interesting offer. Yeah, so I take this bishop with check, and yeah. It was actually not that interesting on an offer. I lied. So, yeah, in this position, basically, we already got him. That's our very first Graif-Benko Gambit, and we got him. Very first one on stream. So a6, because this is very tricky with the move order, and then by the time we get this position, we've already gotten the best version of the Benko. Right, so the Benko would be c5. Let's show him. c5, and then this, which is your standard pawn sacrifice in the Benko Gambit. Now, one of the worst moves here is knight c3, because this is just not the best way to deal with the Benko Gambit. It's because of e6. It's just not a great way to deal with it. I don't mean to be like it's so bad, but not a great way. Better way, at least according to the engine, is to just accept it. Or if you want to decline it, b6 is a better way. So we want to get that position, though. We want to get this position. And the issue is if we play like a6 right now, expecting them to go knight c3, right? They can play a4, just shutting that idea down. So we can trick them with this move order, a6, c5, and now b5. And, you know, if you want better options for white, you can check out the original video here. But what we got in the game was what you're very likely to get, which is this being taken twice. And now after e6 is a tough situation for white, because they can't go d6 because this check is going to drive the knight back, and they're going to be in some fun situations with rook a6 collecting this pawn soon. And they can't go takes and knight d6 check because we're going to go takes. We're going to go e4. It doesn't work. It's also another common way that loses. And if they take it, which they can do, but then we're going to just overrun their center with this pawn mass. So, I mean, if you want full details, you can check out the original Graif-Benko video. But knight c3 is played here, which is also covered in the video. Knight takes is actually an important thing to remember, because I think here they would have had some other option or something like that. But knight takes here, so everything trades, and then opponent is just la-di-da-di-da, thinks everything's fine, but we've gotten their queen off sides. We've gotten their queen off sides, and we're still down on the pawn. But in this position, bishop e2 or bishop c4 doesn't really matter. We play bishop a6, and if the queen were on d1, they could just castle here. But the issue for them is that, well, they can't castle as I noted in the game. Knight b4 would win the bishop. The issue for them is that after takes, we have this really secret idea, check, right? And now they needed queen d2, which is the best way to deal with this. Queen e2. What we do is takes and rook b8, bishop f6. We still have really excellent compensation, are probably winning one of them back. But they didn't do that, and they played the very natural bishop d2, not realizing how terrible this is, and you're not going to be able to castle. You also definitely don't want to go this way with the b and a files, so what do you do with your king? I'm just going to go bishop f6, and I might just waltz in with my knight somewhere like I did in the game, and this rook's going to come into the game. This is not a great move either, because rook d8 is going to chase your queen out, and then, you know, you're still going to have like lots of issues with your king in the middle of the board. Stuck there. So, yeah, and I'm going to get you while I keep you there. So bishop c3 was played, which is a good move. Stops bishop f6, knight b4, and then queen d1 was bad. Yes, so they absolutely should have taken this, and it would have just been about minus 0.4. But it jumped from minus 0.4 to minus 3.6 after queen d1, because they thought this bishop was really, really important to stop bishop f6 and control this diagonal. It is, but it's not more important than allowing just knight d3 check. And in this situation, yeah, king d2 would have allowed this. King e2, and knight takes b2 check. You can't block with your queen, so you're losing it. And so what happened in the game was king f1, but just check. And like I was sharing, king e1 was probably the lesser of the evils, because at least, I don't know, you're not even off a pawn anymore. I'm probably just going to d5, just try to open everything here, or go d4 if you let me. Anyway, in the game was king g1, check, and I just took that bishop. So nice victory there. That demonstrates the power of the queen being offsides, and our first Graif-Benko on stream was a success. First Graif-Benko leads to brutal checkmate. It was not checkmate, because my opponent resigned in this position. But I'll keep working on titles. I'll keep thinking about titles. If people are watching on YouTube right now, I'll have already made a title, but comment what you think the title should have been. Subscribe. Okay.
William Graif, the Gambit man, takes his seat at the board. e4, e5, knight f3, bishop c5. The Bushgas Gambit on the board. On with the Gambit classes. Hero pod unlocked.